Welcome to this heritage tour of the fourth floor of the Liberal Arts Building at the University of Southern Mississippi. We're going to start here in my office. Been in this office for 20 years now. It's pretty much the same, probably a few more things on the walls. But the best part is the view. Down below, there is a parking lot. 20 years ago, there were buildings that went along the road there, and just across the street was a small apartment complex. Changes have taken place continuously, the first being the demolition of the apartment complex. It was a great afternoon. I sat here in the office for hours watching as a man in an excavator demolished the building, scooped up the pieces, put them into the dump truck like it was his hand. It was so smooth. I couldn't believe it. Even though he was below the level of the truck, he would put the debris into the truck, smooth it around so that it was evenly distributed, and then continue the demolition process. It was just beautiful. I've been in this office, as I said, 20 years. The same is not true for most of the offices down the hall. What is present here is change, constant change. Well, there's one thing that hasn't changed. When we went to war in Afghanistan, I put up this peace flag and said I wouldn't take it down until we were not at war anymore. It's still there. As we walk through the rest of the fourth floor, I'm not going to tell you about what you're seeing. These things have not changed much over the years. What has changed are the people and the institutional structure. The offices in these halls have seen many people come and go, to retirement, resignation, denial of tenure. Students, too. They come, many graduate, and move on. But the biggest change is something that is hardly evident in the material, indeed only in the signs you will see. This is because it is an administrative reorganization. When I came to USM 30 years ago, we had disciplinary departments. The Department of Political Science, the Department of Anthropology and Sociology, the Department of History, etc. Beginning last fall, the departments were consolidated into schools. So now I am part of the School of Social Science and Global Studies, which includes political science, legal studies, international development, economics, anthropology, sociology, and world languages. History is now with English and philosophy and religion in the School of Humanities. Right now, you can't see these changes, with the exception of the empty offices of the Communication Studies program, which is now part of the School of Mass Communication and Journalism and has already moved. Soon the Department of History will move to the third floor, with English and philosophy and religion, and world languages will move up to the fourth floor. There will be renovations to the floor layout designed to bring us together as a unit. But if an archaeologist were to excavate the fourth floor right now, they would hardly see this reality. With the exception of the signage, they would still find the disciplines housed as units. On the other hand, if excavated after the renovation, they might be able to recognize the changes. But I guess my point is that there's so much information the material evidence doesn't provide. It can't see the low morale of the faculty who oppose the reorganization and who are still struggling to figure out how to create new policies and procedures, especially dealing with tenure and promotion. It can't see the students who once knew where to go to get help, but don't now because administrative offices have moved and job responsibilities have changed, so the person who once helped them has a different job now. An archaeologist will never know the stories these walls could tell. The story of the longtime faculty member in the history department who was such a racist he taught his students that Africans were better off as slaves in America than as free persons in Africa. The story of the two faculty members fired without due process for discovering and making public that a university administrator had lied on her vita. I watched the police and physical plant employees seize their computers and change the locks on their offices. Or the time I was suspended without due process from teaching my classes in the middle of the semester because an openly gay student accused me of outing him, just because he got angry when I challenged him to consider the contradiction of demanding the right of physical autonomy for himself with his insistence that women be denied that same right. Indeed, when I retire, there will be little evidence of my time spent in the liberal arts building, probably just the chunk of sheetrock that my bike pedal knocked off the corner of the wall. But if they could figure out that was me, I would deny it.